on day 198. I feel called to just read a lot of scripture again. I know I said I'd stop, but not that I would stop reading scripture, but just this long form, just reading out of the Bible. But I think I'm going to do that again today. I was reading Psalm chapter 116 today. I'm just going to read through the whole thing, and I might make a few comments at the end in terms of life application. But let's just read the Bible today, starting in verse 1 of Psalm chapter 116. I love the Lord, for he heard my voice. He heard my cry for mercy. Because he turned his ear to me, I will call on him as long as I live. The cords of death entangled me. The anguish of the grave came over me. I was overcome by distress and sorrow. Then I called on the name of the Lord. Lord, save me. The Lord is gracious and righteous. Our God is full of compassion. The Lord protects the unwary. When I was brought low, he saved me. Return to your rest, my soul, for the Lord has been good to you. For you, Lord, have delivered me from death, my eyes from tears, my feet from stumbling, that I may walk before the Lord in the land of the living. I trusted in the Lord when I said, I am greatly afflicted. In my alarm I said, everyone is a liar. What shall I return to the Lord for all his goodness to me? I will lift up the cup of salvation and call on the name of the Lord. I will fulfill my vows to the Lord in the presence of all his people. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his faithful servants. Truly I am your servant, Lord. I serve you just as my mother did. You have freed me from my chains. I will sacrifice a thank you offering to you and call on the name of the Lord. I will fulfill my vows to the Lord in the presence of all his people, in the courts of the house of the Lord, in your midst, Jerusalem. That was by an anonymous author in chapter 116. A couple of those verses really stick out to me. One being, return to your rest, my soul, for the Lord has been good to you. That's verse 7. Just sitting in the gratitude, and not in a way that like, hey, just because I trust and believe in God that everything in this life is going to work out perfectly, but just, I always go back to, it's about perspective. Like, no matter my earthly circumstance, our soul can be at rest because we know that we're in God if we're pursuing the plans that he has laid out for us. I love that. Return to your rest, my soul. Goes on in verse 8 again, for you, Lord, have delivered me from death, and my eyes from tears, my feet from stumbling, that I may walk before the Lord in the land of the living. And then skipping down to verses 14 and 15, I love this. I will fulfill my vows to the Lord in the presence of all his people. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his faithful servants. And in my application study Bible, it goes on to give a little more context on verse 15 there. It says, God stays close to us even in death. When someone we love is nearing death, we may become angry and feel abandoned, but believers, we are his faithful servants, are precious to God, and he carefully chooses the time when we're called into his presence. And let this truth provide comfort when you've lost a loved one. God sees each life as valuable to him. So again, precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his faithful servants. And I just want to believe and cling to that as I walk this journey in life, to know that whatever God's plan is for me, that I trust it over my own earthly ambitions or plans or anxieties or fears, that I'm trusting him. No matter what chips fall what way or what the longevity is of my human life, whatever the factors beyond my control are, that I just rest in the fact that he is in control. That's what I'm setting in today as we are nearing day 200. I think tomorrow and maybe the following day I'm going to talk a little bit about reflection of starting at day 1, and anytime we get to a big old even number, now that we're nearing on 200, just that reflection of how far we've come, but the acknowledgement that we absolutely need to keep going. We can't get we need to be content and comfortable in the Lord, but at the same time don't want to be stagnant or lazy or go through the motions. So I'm going to be kind of working through that as we near day 200 coming up in a couple days. So today again, Psalm chapter 116, we read verses 1 all the way through verse 19, and that's day 198.